We don't have brains in our limbs, so we can't really remember anything in our arms or legs. But it is true that once we learn how to do something physical, like shooting a bow, it becomes easier to do it without thinking about it. Most people refer to this as muscle memory, but that's actually two slightly different things, and we're going to talk more about that in today's Hunter's Health segment. This week, I'm on a do-it-yourself turkey hunt in Southern Ontario. Stay tuned, you're watching Fuel the Fire TV. Life offers no guarantees, but the one thing we've learned for sure is that the time we have is indeed precious. The more time we spend with family, friends, and with nature can make the difference between living a good life and living a great one. Join us on our quest to be participants rather than observers, to learn from our mistakes, to share our successes and our failures as we spend all of the time we have chasing our dreams, fueling our passion, and fueling the fire in the great outdoors. Closed captioning is brought to you by letsrolloutals.ca. I just made it down to Wyerton. I got on the ferry this morning and I'm on my way to Parry Sound. So I'm driving around and I've got an evening, which is tonight, and tomorrow morning. And I've got 2 turkey tags. I haven't hunted this year yet. Well, I did one with Sam and his dad, Dan Porlier. We hunted with Longbeard Guiding Services out in Ottawa. And although we did get in close on one opening morning, it was just been such a crazy year. It's been so cold. We worked some birds, but we couldn't pull the trigger. So I've got now my turn and I'm trying to get it done. I'm trying to scout out these spots that I know produce birds because I've hunted here before. Now this spot is usually really good. This is where Jess and I shot a bird, and Diane missed a big bird here and then got her first bird over there, but I just don't see any. Oh, you know what? I do see some birds way over. This actually might not be a bad idea for a run and gun this afternoon, but I'm going to check a little bit more and drive around because this is actually my first spot that I stopped at. But I can see that it looks like there's a bird over there, maybe a couple. You know, we've just been so busy with editing and everything for season 3 and trying to get it on the new channel, Sportsman Channel Canada. I just haven't had a whole lot of time this spring to try and get it done. I'm just on my way to a different gig and thought I'd take the long way around and see if I could squeeze in one day of hunting. Well, one evening and one morning. This is one of my favorite spots to turkey hunt, and I thought it was gonna be a dud today. But about 300 yards, there's a great big tom. Now I walked all the way around here to get on the back side of this property to get here, and they've cut me off. So I've got about 2 hours left. I think I'm gonna circle all the way back and try and get them as they come into the roost. I think that's my only shot because they're not responding to the call. Yep, it's a bunch of jakes and one big fan, that's all I can see. And some hens. But it's a nice fan. Okay, I'm gonna hustle here because I know where those birds are in the field. And I just gotta get down this laneway. I'm gonna try and cut them off before they go to the roost because the trees aren't big enough to roost where they are. This is my only shot here. There's no way I should try and crawl in there, but I know that's where they are. I think I'm gonna risk it. Okay, those birds are right there. I came back the other side, and they're right there, but I'm in the wrong spot. They're like 40 yards. I need to get over here. I got a little bit of cover right now. They're moving across this way. I gotta crawl.
other side of that dead tree. I got no clear shot in here for the camera. I'm gonna try and get to that tree right in front of me.
This segment of Fuel the Fire TV was brought to you by Indigenous Tourism Ontario. This segment of Fuel the Fire TV was brought to you by Kickaboo Meat Seasoning.
There's no way I should try and crawl in there, but I know that's where they are. I only have one evening and one morning to hunt these birds. I came back the other side, and they're right there, but I'm in the wrong spot. They're moving across this way. Yes! Oh, yes! I did not think that was gonna happen. I just did not think that that was gonna happen. Those birds were 350 yards that way. Oh man, I went all the way back. Then I came all the way back around. Yes! Oh! Oh, yes! Oh, yes! The Benelli just drops the hammer. And he's heavy too. Look at this. This is just awesome. He's a monster, Tom. And I made a real good shot. I did not think that was gonna happen. I came down for one day, a half a hunt on the Chichimon, and I'm doing it myself. I saw these birds and I went all the way around. I got there, they weren't there. I came all the way back, crawled through the bush, and they were right in front of me and I couldn't move. I'm sure that video is blurry, but you know what? So be it. It's hard to do. It's hard to self-video your turkey hunt, but look at that fan. Just fantastic. A nice big beard. He's probably got a good 7-8 inch beard. Just awesome. Spurs on him, maybe an inch. Oh man, I am so pumped. I've been in the studio and I just didn't think this was gonna happen, but I got the chance to hit the Chichimon this morning with 4 hours sleep and get on these birds. I can't thank Paul Miller enough. The Benelli got it done again. I love that gun. And I'm out here fueling my passion, fueling the fire, and getting outdoors. Man, that is just awesome. Oh yeah, that's a heavy bird. Oh. One of the things that I learned today out of today's hunt, and you know, and Rob Seifert used to tell me this all the time, when you have a group of birds, especially birds that have in the afternoon, and it's a group of birds, then you've got a tom. I had to get in front of them. I had an idea of where they might take off or where they might go to the roost, and my whole plan was to try and get out in front of those birds, so that calling to them wasn't really gonna work. I kind of figured that because when I did that, all he would do would flare his tail. When I had an idea of where they were gonna go to the roost, then I tried to get in front of them. and then I just sat tight, and that actually allowed me to harvest this bird. You know, I got a little bit lucky, but that's all part of it. I'd rather be lucky than good any day. That's this week's learning curve tip. Get ahead of the bird, and you just might get lucky.
Welcome to this week's Hunter's Health segment. We're going to talk a little bit about muscle memory. Let me set things straight. For all of us archers out there, archery is a year-round sport. It's a year-round passion that requires dedication for the entire season, winter, spring, fall, and summer. But let's face it, for a lot of us big game hunters, the deer season, follows moose season and bear, and by the end of the fall, we see the snow, we get a little bit excited, especially for ice fishing season and snowmobiles, and our practice might tend to fall off a little bit when it comes to archery. And it's super important to make sure that that doesn't happen when it comes to muscle memory. If you've never shot a bow or pulled back on a 60-pound draw, at first it's going to feel heavy and downright awkward. And that's why we start with a lower poundage bow and build our way up. Even if we take a break for an extended period of time, we're going to find that it's easier to get back to that 60-pound draw. And that's true for any exercise. And that might lead us to believe that although our muscles shrink or atrophy due to lack of use over time, that those muscle cells stick around and maybe even retain an impression of how big they used to be. This is why we might feel that our muscles remember what to do, like riding a bike or shooting a bow, as if somehow that memory is stored in our muscles and they remember how to perform. In actuality, the remembering part is actually happening in our brains. Although the act of shooting our bows requires strengthening of certain muscles, the processes that are required for memory mainly occur in the brain. The motor cortex of our brain is responsible for movement, and we can develop stronger connections between the neurons that serve as representation for that motion. The stronger the connections, the better the memory, and the easier it is for us to access how to do it properly. This means that working out our muscles on a regular basis is one of the ways that we can keep our muscle myonuclei fit for duty, you might say. But of equal importance is to make sure that we have conscious practice of our shooting routine. So even though the neurons inside our muscles play an important role in our shooting, the activity that allows us to perform the same action over and over again happens in our brain. And that's why it's important to practice both regularly. We make sure that we practice in the off season, which is the winter months, because we're busy with filming and fishing and editing. But we make sure that we take the time, because we're fortunate enough to have a shooting range in our garage and a workout place in our garage, that we actually work out. We make sure that we use those muscles on a regular basis, especially those that are going to help us keep that tone, even if it is at a lower poundage and shooting one of the Genesis bows. We make sure we do that. But we also focus on those skills. When we have the girls practicing and when we're doing our own shooting pattern, we make sure that we practice our stance. We make sure that we knock properly. We draw hand set. We bow hand set. We pre-draw. We draw. We aim. We release. And then we follow through and reflect. That ensures that that muscle memory stays intact. The practice happens in your brain, and doing it consciously is important. Thanks for watching this week's Hunter's Health segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some do-it-yourself wild turkey.
All right, we're driving around and it looks like I just saw, or I found tomorrow's target. I've only got one morning to hunt and I had one afternoon, which we got it done. And now I just saw 2 monster toms heading into this tree lot. I think I know where I'm gonna set up tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens.
This segment was brought to you by Manitoulin Chrysler. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Ramaco's Source for Adventure.
I just got permission last night to hunt that piece where I saw those 2 big toms. Now it's 4 a.m. I'm a little bit late, so I gotta get a hustle and move on to set up that ground blind if I'm gonna have a chance with my bow tech. All right, I'm all set up. I got a gobbler to my right, and I've got gobblers deep in the bush. Now I did see 2 gobblers with 3 hens yesterday go down this side of the field, but those 2 big toms were behind me when they were going into the bush. I can hear them. I'm surrounded.
I totally blew that one. I was getting a little fidgety and I walked across the field, and just down over that knoll there was 4 or 5 turkeys down there and 2 toms for sure. I didn't think they busted me, but I saw them. So anyway, I came back and it wasn't a few minutes, well, maybe 20 minutes, and then those 2 toms took off into the bush. They knew something was up. They weren't having anything to do with this setup.
I heard a gobble. It might have been that big guy that came around because he flared when I called, but then he booted it back here. Can't see back there. I can hear him though. Oh yeah, he's right there. He's right at the corner. Okay. All right. Oh man, I can't believe that just happened. I think I got him. I saw him fly. I flew over the fence. I could see the arrow sticking out. But then I saw him peel to the left there. That's my first turkey with my bow deck. I think he's down. I gotta go see. Man, but he flew so far, but then I saw him peel. I'll go see if I got this bird. Oh man, please let me get this bird. Please. Okay. All right. I am literally freaking out right now because I don't know if that bird's down. I had to move the camera because when I looked in it, I had to let down. Oh man.
I don't see him. Oh, I see him. He's right there. Shit. Yes, I did it. I did it. This was an impossible trip. I can't explain how impossible this trip was gonna be. A half a day to hunt in the evening to try and get one with a shotgun with the Benelli, and then to try and set up. I got permission from Ryan Miller and his dad Tom because I saw these birds last night. Oh, he's good. He's got bigger spurs than yesterday's bird, for sure. Look at this guy. I don't know where the arrow is. Look at this big fan. He's all busted up. He's just broken up. This guy must be scrapping for sure. He's all weathered and worn. Man, I don't care what anybody says, turkey hunting is a ton of fun. This guy, he busted by me, I'm sure it was him. And then he came back. He just wanted to kick some butt. He's got a good beard on him too. He's got a bigger beard than yesterday, and he's got some nice spurs, maybe 1.25 inches. Wow, and the Bowtech gets it done. I'm out here, folks. I'm fueling my passion. I'm fueling the fire because I got outdoors.